Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing amazing. Hope everyone is doing amazing. I am your girl Tanisha Shanee, Miss Inspiration. So I am actually live on all of my platforms right now. So you're gonna probably see me look up and down. I am live on Facebook, YouTube, IG, and TikTok. So I'm on my phone on TikTok and on my computer on um what's the face. So we are here. I am here to talk about my 1 year in Tulsa. So, for those of you that don't know, I moved from Oklahoma. I moved from New York City to Oklahoma in November of last year. So, I technically left New York on November 8th, 2023, and drove from New York to Oklahoma. But I got to Oklahoma on November 9th that evening. Okay. And it's been an amazing journey. So, for those of you, especially if you're on YouTube, you have you have been following me a little bit more. And I know this because I have a lot of people that hit me up on YouTube, and the people that end up moving to Tulsa. So I moved to Tulsa. For those of you that don't know, I moved to Tulsa with a program called Tulsa Remote. If you never heard of this program, it is one of those programs that will pay you $10,000 to relocate to Tulsa, Oklahoma for at least a year. It's not a 5-year commitment, this is a 1 year commitment. And you do that, they pay you and you move, right? So I have been here now. I got accepted into the program in June of 2023. It was a very quick process. When I say quick, I mean literally I applied for the program. Uh, at the end of the application, they stated it could take up to 4 weeks. I literally heard back from them in 2 days. You have to do an interview. I did my interview, and then you move on. Once you get past the interview, they said that they'll let me know in 48 hours. They did let me know in 48 hours. I was accepted, as long as your background check. So they do a background check. So that's something I want people to know if you're interested in this. There are other programs. Tulsa Remote is not the only program. Other programs exist, like in Rochester, New York. I know Indiana has a bunch of programs. Arkansas has a program. I think Georgia, there's a city in Georgia, not Atlanta. There's a city in Georgia. They just kicked off a program. There's a lot of these programs, but Tulsa, I felt like just reading and now being here, I see why Tulsa is a little bit more successful. They have a higher retention rate. That's how these programs are rated. Like, how long do people stay after the year? So I made the decision to move here, and I said, I have been wanting to leave New York for a long time. I've been in New York my entire life, New York City in my entire life. I lived in Westchester County for college 4 years, but I literally just like, okay, I gotta make a change. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I don't want to be here. And I'm one of those people, like, if you're gonna continue to complain about something, do something about it. If you're going to continue to complain about something, do something about this. And I honestly believe that a lot of people could go further in life if they were to move out of the environment that they're comfortable in. Now, some people will say, well, I can't do this. And one thing I'm going to say to you that my therapist said to me, my therapist called me out because in 2022, this is when it was just like weighing heavy on me. I was just like, guys, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I'm tired of trying to make this work. It doesn't resonate. So I have to make a decision. And that's when I started to explore. I was going to different cities and staying there for like 2 weeks to a month, just to kind of get this like a feel for it. And it didn't make sense until my therapist was like, no, you are creating these narratives that you have to stay in New York. I'm going to say that again. You are creating this narrative that you have to stay in New York. She was like, you don't have to stay in New York. You can choose to stay there, be unhappy, be miserable, or you can choose to get up and leave New York and go where it resonates with you and find a place that works for you. And so that was pretty much 2022 to 2023. That was my quest. So if you saw me, followed me, you probably seen like I have people tell me, "Oh, you're always traveling." Yes, because I needed to find where it was going to work for me. I do not want to do what everyone else is doing. People from New York, everyone was going to Atlanta, everyone was going to Florida, people was going to Charlotte, and those are great places, but it was not a place for me. Thank you for the heart. I got some hearts. Oh, I got some roses. Sorry, y'all. I'm on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok people. Thank you. I love y'all. Thank you. Someone just sent me some gifts. Keep tapping that screen, okay? Let's get more people in here. Share this. Same thing on YouTube, Facebook. Share this. Someone needs this. So I literally was just like, let me sit here and figure something out. So last year, my sister sent me this video. Someone on social media was talking about Tulsa remote and how they got paid and they moved there. So she was like, check this out. My sister's one of those people, she's not gonna discourage you to do something. She's gonna like, look, if you don't like it, fix it. She's like me. She's like my strategist. Okay. So she's like, you don't like it, you have the choice to fix it. So Tanisha, go ahead and fix it. So when I saw the video, I literally just was like, I prayed and I was like, God, if this is for me, then let this be for me. And I literally sat there and I applied that night, didn't tell anyone. And as quickly, because I'm thinking I have some time to do like thorough research, because I didn't research anything. And I was just like, I'm thinking I have some time, and I didn't. Because, like I said, they literally reached out to me 2 days after I submitted my application, and we just kind of like moved quickly. So by the time August came of 2023, my sister and I went out there because Tulsa Remote does give an opportunity for you to come out and see it for yourself. Everyone does not take advantage of this, but this is the one thing everyone needs to take advantage of. Come out here. They're going to reimburse you. They're going to reimburse you for your flight, for you and someone. So you would get up to $500 reimbursed for you and someone each to go and come to Tulsa from wherever. And if you're driving, they're going to reimburse you based off of the IRS mileages. But it's going to be up to $500. And as long as you do the hosted visit, you will be housed at the hotel that they're going to pay for. You just have to use your credit card to secure it. But when it's time for you to leave, you're not paying for that hotel room unless you have any damages to your room. I don't see how that is like a hard sell, right? But some people don't take advantage of it. I've actually met people here who moved here blind faith, did not see it, and I mean it worked. Some people it worked out, and a lot of people it didn't. So when we came here, when I say the energetically, I felt like, okay, I like this. I like this feeling. I like how I feel. It felt peaceful. If you have ever been in New York City, it's like, it's quick, it's fast, it's on the move, 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 right? Here it's like, we just go, right? I don't need to feel like I'm on the move all the time. And I felt that peace for the first time. Driving on the highway, forget about it. Like, I literally pulled out of the airport onto the highway, and I was like, I looked at my sister, and I was like, I literally felt I felt myself just relax in a way that I haven't relaxed in a long time. That's how I knew, okay, I think it's time for you to really make this move. So when I left there with the mindset of two things: you're moving, and two, you're going to buy your house. Now, I follow MG the Mortgage Guy. If anyone knows MG the Mortgage Guy, he's on all social medias. But MG the Mortgage Guy, I was his YouTube moderator, and he always would say, people would be like, well, I tried to get pre-approved and I got rejected, so I can't buy a house. And one thing that he said that stuck with me on that flight back to New York, he said, if one says no, another will say yes. Because prior to me going there, I did try to get pre-approved and I got denied. So I remember him saying that. And when I got back, I said, literally, I'm going to just find another company and I'm going to see if I can get pre-approved for them. And I did. So I purchased my house, and that was an experience because that actually took 3 weeks From the day that they accepted my offer to the day of the closing, it was 3 weeks. I was not expecting that. When I bought my co-op in New York, it took me 6 months to get to the closing table. It took me 3 weeks to get to the closing table in Tulsa. So that was a huge difference. That was like, dang, like like, I was up here. I'm like, I'm scared. I'm like, is this real? Oh, because your girl bought a house without physically seen it. Yes, you have seen me on House Hunters. For those of you that don't know, I am on House Hunters. My sister and I, it is season 247, episode 13. The episode that my sister and I were on, we were on House Hunters. It was episode 247, season 247, episode 13. And I'm sharing that because I think so many times people forget, like, this is production, right? So is it really realistic to go see 3 houses and you're only making the decision off of 3? No. I already had the house when we recorded for House Hunters, but oh, thank you for following me. I already have bought the house. So, but I did everything online. I did everything online. So I purchased this house that I'm sitting in right now, just literally on iPhone. She's calling me, she's showing me, putting me in contact with the appraiser. It was just like in a really quick, fast experience. It was one that I'm truly thankful for, right? And I'm thankful that I went through this process and I allowed myself to not allow fear, right? So fear really stops a lot of people. And I've been dealing with that my entire life. Everything that I've kind of done has always been outside of the box. So I give you a perfect example. When I bought my co-op, I found that co-op on Craigslist. Now, y'all know a couple of years ago, Craigslist was one of the places where everyone was like, don't you go to Craigslist because they got the Craigslist killer. The Craigslist killer's gonna come and get you. And I'm like, man, y'all get out of here with that nonsense. I went and I saw the place. It was a owner, she was selling it, and I purchased it without a realtor and everything. It took 6 months. And it took 6 months not because someone was like, oh, it took 6 months because you didn't have a realtor. No, it took 6 months because I had a thorough attorney. And anyone that doesn't know, when you're buying a co-op, you're pretty much buying shares into a corporation. So he wanted to thoroughly go through every page. Like, there's a binder that we get when we purchase. He wanted to go through every single page. And by the time I went to go buy, the binder was about this thick. I can only imagine what that binder looks like now, because it's been 17 years. So, I'm just like, okay, God, I'm trusting, I'm believing you. When I came here to close, I remember driving down the block at like 10:30 at night. It's pitch black. I just wanted to see if the house was real. Like, is this really a house? And it was really there. Went to my hotel and, got up the next morning and went for my closing, and the rest was history. Now I had 2 homes and I have my house in Tulsa. Was not prepared to do all the moving yet because things were still happening back in New York. I was dealing with my mom and her health issues. But then I also was dealing with like some, making sure the dental work that I needed to get done was done and completed. So I don't have to do the back and forth. Like flying back and forth between Tulsa and Tulsa and New York, it is quite expensive. That's the one thing I can honestly tell people, right? This is not flying from New York to Atlanta, where you can get $100 flight, New York to Boston, where you can get an $89 flight. That's not the reality. It is going to cost a little bit more money to get here, especially if you want a direct flight. So I tell people that's probably one of the biggest disadvantages of living in Tulsa, because we are a mid-size. We're not a huge hub. We don't even have a Spirit out here. We only have our budget airline is Allegiant, and Allegiant I heard goes to the West Coast, and then we have Southwest. So we don't have Spirit Frontier. We don't have a lot of destinations. If you're flying out of Tulsa, you're flying to either like New York, St. Louis, Atlanta, definitely Dallas, Chicago, St. Louis, LA, Phoenix. Like, we don't have that many places. You're typically gonna always have to do a connection, right? I'm okay with that. I don't understand. I'm good with that. That doesn't bother me, because I'm gonna still travel. But the other thing I do like about Tulsa is I have access to states that I never thought about going to. Like I've been to Texas before, but it's never been a place that I'm like, hey, let me go get in my car and let me go drive down to Texas. I've never had that mindset until I got here. And it actually was activated because of Chris Brown. Let me tell you how Breezy had me taking my first road trip. So Chris Brown, y'all know last summer he had his concert and I kept on procrastinating and I finally was just like the week before, like, you know what, I'm going to see Chris Brown. He was in Fort Worth. So Fort Worth from Tulsa is about 4.5 hours away. And I was on the phone with my sister. She booked her flight. I got the hotel. I gassed up the car and I drove to Fort Worth. That was a really great trip. I was able to see things, able to experience. I can now tell y'all that I can possibly say that people in Texas are probably the worst drivers. The second, if not runner up, like neck and neck, Virginia. No shade, okay? Um, but it was great to do that. I've been to Arkansas, drove out there a couple of weeks ago actually to see Genuine and Drew Hill. I do a lot of concerts. Concerts are my thing, right? And the one thing that I have appreciated, a lot of people will assume it's Tulsa. There's nobody coming here. Nobody's coming to Tulsa. That's not true. Last year, right before the new year, I saw Ja Rule and Ashanti. I saw Ashanti when she was pregnant and when she was already Mrs. Haynes, because I saw her the day before New Year's. And I think they got married like the 28th or 27th. So yeah, I saw Ashanti when she was already married. But Ashanti, Ja Rule, I saw Chingy, I saw Nelly because Nelly came back to Tulsa in April. I've been to like a lot of concerts. I went to OKC to see Escape and Maya. So they might not necessarily come to Tulsa, but they will come to surrounding areas. And we just get in the car and we drive and we go. Like that's the beautiful part, I think, about this region. There's a lot more people. They might not fly. I have met someone who has never been on the airplane, but this person has been to like over 30 states. They'll gas up that truck. They'll take that big their trucks and they will go to whatever city and state. So they've been to California, they've been to Michigan, they've been over to Maine because they get in a car and they drive and they go. To me, that's cool. I'm like, hey, I'm not upset if someone says to me, oh, I don't travel like that. Oh, I don't fly like that. I would not be as offended, or I would not be as like, oh, I'm not attracted to that. Because I'm like, hey, as long as you're willing to get on the road and go and experience life, why the heck not? So that's something that I have appreciated. It's making me want to get on the road. So hopefully, I know like it's starting to get cold. And I'm gonna be honest, because someone asked me this last week about the weather. So last winter, I can only tell you about the one winter that I've been here. Last winter, we had a cold week. And that week we had literally like negative degrees for 1 week. Before that, that was like we had literally maybe 50, 40 degree days. And after that, same thing. But that 1 week in January where it was -10, -20, you're like, wait, what the heck is going on? It was only for a week. I can tolerate a week of cold versus 4 or 5 months. I don't want that, right? And we don't get a lot of snow. We do get a lot more ice. So ice storms are big out here. Ice storms are literally like shut down the whole city, right? If there's any ice storms, shut it down. Okay. So that is something also that if you're not accustomed to what like extreme weather, that might be something to get adjusted to. But because I'm coming from New York and I grew up with blizzards, I grew up like literally 2016 was the last time we had a blizzard, and there was snow up to like the mirrors on people's cars. So that's what I'm accustomed to. So when I came here, I just wasn't accustomed to the negative degree weather. And then being in a house, let me tell y'all what happened. It was still a great experience because of the response rate. So that same week that it was negative degrees, my gas went out, right? Gas company comes, they're like the whole block, our gas went out on the week that it was negative degrees, guys. And I called them. They was outside of my door in like an hour. I'm not used to that, But it was in the daytime, so I'm able to put my layers on as I'm working. I was able to go to the co-working space because one of the perks that Tulsa Remote gives us is a co-working space. And I was able to go there to if I really needed to warm up, I was able to do that. The gas came back on and then something happened and it went back off. So they came back and they were working on it. And they was like, okay, we'll knock on the door or we'll ring the bell when we're ready to turn the gas back on. They have to come in the house to do that. When I tell y'all, OMG, I fell asleep. Did not realize that did not hear the door. So when I woke up, and luckily when I woke up, when I went to sleep, I slept with the the heating blanket on. So I had my blanket on, and I'm like getting up to use the bathroom, and literally it was like a huge shift. It was like, oh, from nice, warm, and snuggly to boom. Good morning, Kevin. Like, boom. It was just like 10 degrees in the house. I have never ran so fast in the bathroom. But when I tell you that morning, I called them the moment that they opened up my gas. They did not turn the gas on last night. They were back outside my door within 45 minutes to turn my gas back on, and I haven't had any issues since. But those are things that you gotta kind of be mindful of, And as someone who's never owned a house, that was something new for me to okay, I have to remember, pay attention to the gas, make sure you communicate with the gas company, make sure you stay up or you keep that phone right here next to your ear so that when they ring that doorbell, you'll be able to hear it. My doorbell is connected to my phone. So I'm just like, okay, so the weather is not bad. The summers are bad. Okay. The summers are hot, but I don't mind. I don't mind the hot. I love it. I love the fact that even last week I was able to wear shorts. So we have not really had this week is probably the coldest, but this past week and this weekend has been the coldest that it's been. But other than that, I don't mind the heat. I do have central air, so there's a lot of places here that do have central air. So I think overall the weather is you're gonna get that one really cold week in Tulsa, and then summertime you're gonna just get some heat. You're gonna get the sun. It's gonna be hot. Yes. What else do y'all want to know? What else do y'all want to know? So the year, like I said, the year has been great. I'm still single. Okay. Life happens. Okay, my feelings are not hurt, but I'm still single. And dating in Tulsa has been. I will say the men in Tulsa are different from the men in New York. They're a lot more wholesome here, which I do appreciate. I like to meet the guys that, they have manners, they got their little country accent. I like that. I've seen some nice looking, cowboys when I go to the rodeo, but, nothing has happened. But meeting people now, it's very interesting because I've encountered some individuals that came through Tulsa Remote and they don't feel as though that they have been able to meet friends. I feel as though as we get older, it is harder to meet friends because especially outside of work. See, most people you meet people because of work, or because somebody put you in contact, like you went somewhere with a cousin and they had a friend and they were cool, so now y'all cool. And so here it's you have to be very intentional. And I think because I do post on social media, people come up to me, right? Good morning. People come up to me, people start conversations with me. A lot of the times I just be like, hey, and they be like, hey, oh my gosh. I was actually told yesterday at the museum, they was like, you just have a friendly face. And I was like, okay, I think I do, but sometimes I don't, right? Because I'm being honest with myself. And so I was just like, cool, but I have been able to make some connections with people. But I'm okay with being by myself. I don't need to be around a whole bunch of people, right? I personally don't. I personally don't need to be around a whole bunch. I do a lot of things by myself. I travel by myself. I go out to eat by myself. So I'm actually very comfortable doing things alone. Like I don't feel like, oh, I need a friend. I need somebody to be here with me. But I do open up myself to have those connections. I actually hosted my first brunch 2 months ago, and I was only expecting like 1 or 2 people to show up. And 8 people, 8 ladies showed up, 8 women. And I was just like, okay, and they were like, you should do this more often. And so that's something that I'm going to definitely do more, because I want to allow us to come together and be connected, right? Someone, something as simple as having brunch, you don't realize that now you're in the company of someone that has the same similar interests as you, or something that you're interested in, but you're thinking that no one else is interested in. The big thing about Tulsa is really big with community, right? So, and what actually, I saw a sticker in August of last year when I came here. I saw a sticker and it said, if you can't find it, start it. This is something that a lot of people in Tulsa has really embraced. They have started it. My homegirl Fifi, she's on TikTok, the nameplate lady. Shout out to Fifi. Fifi started like line dancing. So like the Tamia dance, and I'm looking at you, like that dance, and everybody's doing it. So she actually started a exercise class where they go over the different line dances. Like, who would have thought about that? Now, is that something that is not here already? I think it is here. It might not be, advertised in the spaces and the places that we would typically go look for, but it is now there, right? It is now someplace that someone who wants to, be around a certain audience, because there's 2 types of line dancing, I heard. So you might not want to go to the other one, or that particular day might not work for you. Her Tuesdays might work best for you, whatever, right? But I will say, if you do have ideas and you do come to Tulsa, I would say find a way to make it happen. So some of my big highlights has been, the biggest highlight for me has been getting my book sold on Black Wall Street, right? So Dear Single in Love has been picked up at the Black Wall Street Corner Store and More on Greenwood Avenue, where my book is being sold. They're autographed copies. So when you come to Tulsa, you will be able to go. And if you are in Tulsa, go down to Greenwood, even today, because they're open on Sundays, and pick up the copy of your book. Autographed copy. Now, for those of you that are not in Tulsa, you can just go get Dear Single in Love off of Amazon. Is there. You can purchase it as a Kindle, or you can purchase it physical copy, and it would be mailed to you in like 2 to 3 days, even with Amazon Prime. So yeah, so that's like my biggest highlight, is creating a space for women to come together, some hosts on my brunch, and people are actually showing up, and then getting my book physically autographed. That was my first wholesale agreement that I ever had. And I felt like that was a huge accomplishment for me as well. Coming to Tulsa and getting that done within my first year. I don't compare my first year to anyone else's. Some people have accomplished big things. They have gotten grants, and I love that for them. I did things at my pace because I knew that I had to do things the way that I needed to. So I think that's also something. I just think overall, the only thing that I want everyone to walk away with this video, whether you are looking to move, whether you are moving to Tulsa, just make sure you take people's opinions with a grain of salt. Okay. And I say that because I have encountered many people that have moved here who did not take advantage. I'm going to put it that way. They did not take advantage of the resources that were presented to them. And they will, voice, it's horrible here. No one is friendly. I can't meet any friends. But if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not actively really trying to build connections, you are going to struggle. You are going to feel alone. You are going to feel as though that, this is not the place for you. But you have to do something as well. You have to put forth some effort, right? I could have easily came here, worked remote, stayed in my house, right? And in my backyard, my front yard, go to the store and come back home. I could have easily done that. But I was like, no, I'm going to be intentional about this because I am in a new city and I want to learn as much about it. And until I get outside, then that's where I'm going to actually have the experiences. Many people don't experience anything because they don't go outside. They don't want to make connections. They don't want to get to know people, right? I don't know why I hate that song by Drake for No New Friends, because y'all took that and y'all ran with that one. Y'all took that song and was like, yeah, Drake said no new friends, so it's no new friends. Chill. Go get you some new friends. Because guess what? The new friends is going to open up doors. One of the first conversations I had with someone in Tulsa was with a young lady, and she heard that I was an educational consultant, and she invited me out for coffee, and we sat there, and she told me about the different programs, and I'm just like, what? This, you got how much? Like, that was a new person I needed to hang out with, because I needed to learn what is available to me that might not come up in Tulsa remote, right? So that's something that I say, please find you some new friends. You can start online. There's so many pages and communities, or you can build a community and then take that community from the internet and say, hey, let's meet here. Let's have brunch here. Let's go get a cup of coffee or tea. Tulsa has nothing but parks and trails. That's another thing. People are like really coming together. Hey, let's go have a Monday walk and let's talk about business ideas or whatever. You fill in the blank. You guys just take the ideas and let them flourish. But take it and meet in person. Some of y'all just need to meet these people in person. Okay? So if you're struggling with meeting new people, this is for anyone anywhere, right? Eventbrite. If you're not on Eventbrite, I'm gonna need everybody to go download Eventbrite and start looking at what other events are happening in your city. I know that in Tulsa, Eventbrite is used heavily for most of the events. So anytime that Tulsa Remote doesn't have anything, my friends are busy, and I'm kind of like in the mood to do something, I go on Eventbrite and I'm looking to see what's out there, right? We have sports. I'm not a big sports person, but this is also something, again, new experiences. Why not experience something that, you might end up enjoying it, or you might just meet someone? The young lady, let me tell you how going to a soccer game. What's the soccer or baseball? It was a baseball game. I went to the baseball game. They had tickets. I got a ticket. I went. I don't watch sports. I definitely don't understand baseball. The young lady who interviewed my sister and I for House Hunters, she moved to Tulsa through the program as well. But she was introduced because of me, and she moved to Tulsa. I walk in, I'm sitting there eating my little taco, and she looked at me and she's like, oh, Tanisha. And I was like, who is this? If y'all know me, people just shouting out my name really be like, who are you? That's the true New Yorker in me, because I'll be like, you're doing too much. But then I recognized her face and I was just like, oh my gosh, like we were able to meet, connect. And we were only able to do that because I went to the baseball game. Again, I'm not interested in baseball. I don't think she's interested in baseball. But because we both went, we were able to now connect and take this, Zoom connection, and then we use Slack and Tulsa Remote, using Slack, and now we were able to meet in person. And now I'm able to put a physical person, and it's like, okay, so I'm here to tell y'all, go outside. I know it's getting cold, and that's gonna be my last thing. That's the one thing I do look forward to, and I do it. Last year I didn't do as much as I wanted to because I'm still getting used to and getting comfortable with the like surrounding areas. But Christmas in this part of the country, I mean, look, nothing is like New York. Fine, we're gonna put that out there. Disclaimer: nothing is like New York City's Christmas. I've been done that, but this is like small town. Like I'm one of those people that I watch the Lifetime Christmas movies, right? That to me, that's my thing. And I literally love, I love going downtown when it's like the Christmas decorations. I think they're starting that like in 2 weeks. Oh, I'm excited. Our Christmas parade, low key, I'm excited. I did that last year. I'm doing it again this year. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the little small town holidays that you can get. The things that you see in the Hallmark movies or the Lifetime Christmas movies, that's where I like to go there. I like to do that. That's my thing. So let that be your thing too. But find what works for you and just go from there. Like that's the best advice that I can give anyone that is thinking about coming to Tulsa. Right? So yes, I am Tanisha Shanee. I am Miss Inspiration. I thank you guys for those of you that have been on, that have been watching from different, platforms. Thank you for those of you on TikTok that gave me some hearts and helped me to reach my goal of 5 roses. Appreciate you. And for those of you that watch me on Facebook, share this message. YouTube, I got a love for y'all as well. But I am your girl, Tanisha Shanee, Miss Inspiration. And thank you for listening to my 1 year update. I'm going to do something special. It's going to mainly be on YouTube. So if you're not following me on YouTube, find Tanisha Shanee, TANISHA on YouTube, because I'm going to do a video of 10 things I love about Tulsa. And it's not going to be like really me talking. I'm just going to highlight those 10 things. It's going to pretty much be a short video, but that will show you like the things that I have enjoyed in Tulsa in the last year since I've been here. And I think that would be helpful for you. So I am your girl. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Let me get ready because I'm going to brunch with one of my homegirls. So I will talk to you guys later.